May I now request Mr. Subrata Mitra, Joint Managing Director of M.N. Dastur and Company, to come and take the dais, please. And obviously, last but not the least, our chief guest for this morning, someone who is very close to us, Sri Pradosh Kumar Rath, Chairman, Managing Director. A big round of applause for our chief guest, please. Unfortunately, Mr. Satyanarayan, Member of Parliament of Vizag, will be delayed. So he has requested us to carry on with the program, and he will join us later, perhaps a little later than 11 o'clock. Okay. As per tradition, I'm supposed to propose a welcome address. So without making it too long, I would formally like to welcome all of you at this seminar on cost-effective technologies and market for long products. The tradition has been to hold this conference primarily in Vizag, again because Vizag is a long product producer and it has a legacy of its own. You know, Vizag steel plant is a plant which is very close to my heart, and those of you who are from RINL know the bonding of RINL has been primarily because it is one plant which has fought against all odds. It was born as a crippled child because of the cost overrun and delay in the plant. And in spite of being born as a crippled child, it overcame all the barriers, became a zero-debt company, and then, in spite of all challenges, it has been, Mr. Rath, who has grown from the ranks. He has been with RINL right since its inception. He has given his blood for this organization, and it is a well-deserved position which he has achieved today as the CMD, because he has given his life and blood for this organization. A wonderful human being with whom I have had opportunities on interacting on a one-to-one basis, and this much I can vouch that he is perhaps one of the few CMDs who leads a very simple life. So, as we say, simple living, high thinking. So his high thinking is perhaps because of, do you know that he is perhaps one of the few CMDs who does not travel business class? He makes it a point to travel economic class even after he became chairman. So, this is something which you do not see of PSU CMDs very often. So this is something which I felt we should talk about. Mr. Rath is a wonderful human being, and in spite of all the challenges he is going through, the steel industry is perhaps going through again, but again we are perhaps at the bottom of the curve. We have hit the rock bottom. Global trends are showing that it might take months for us to recover. Automobile market is at its worst in 90 years. The real estate market is down. There is no demand. Demand offtake is very, very poor. Mr. Sanjay Agarwal, who heads marketing at JSW, will perhaps be able to highlight the reasons behind all this and the challenges they are facing from what we call the quote-unquote the secondary steel producers. Though now the ministry has come out with a circular saying that you cannot call them secondary anymore. You can only call them smaller players. So that is one challenge which I think during the course of the discussion we will request Mr. Agarwal to highlight. Having said that, may I now request our dignitaries on the dais to join us in lighting of the lamp along with our chief guest, Mr. Rath. Mr. Rath, Mr. Mitra, Mr. Agarwal, please join us. reminds me of the special occasion we are here today. Today is the birthday of Lord Krishna, Janmashtami. This is a very auspicious day for all of us who are Hindus, because Lord Krishna is the creator of the universe and today is his birthday. So we are fortunate to be here on a very auspicious day on the occasion of Janmashtami. And may the Lord Krishna's blessing be on all of us. With that, I have a small duty to perform, handing over flower bouquets to our dignitaries. First to Mr. Sanjay Agarwal. Senior Vice President, Marketing, JSW Steel. Next, to Mr. Subrata Mitra, Joint Managing Director of MN Dastur. And again, last but not the least, our Chief Guest, Sri P. K. Rath, Chairman and Managing Director of Vizag State Bank. Weaver Steel as a brand came up much later than, let's say, for example, RINL. But I can tell you this much, Mr. Rath might also agree with me that JSW has given RINL a good run for their money, even in the southern Indian market. So that way, I asked Sajan Jindal once, Sajanji, what is it that keeps you going in the, even being a late entrant, you are doing so well in the southern markets. I heard from RINL that you have given a good chase for their market share. So Sajanji told me, our DNA is very aggressive. Because of aggressive DNA, which I accept for a PSU is little difficult, because PSUs cannot go beyond a certain extent. In spite of that, you must give credit to RINL Team Collective that they have fought on, and many of the customers of RINL who are here today, I would like to assure you that in terms of dedication to the market, RINL is no less than JSW. And let me be very honest, I'm supposed to be a journalist. As a journalist, I'm supposed to be neutral, so I'm not married to RINL. But I would like to state facts. For a PSU, it is a much bigger challenge. Having said that, I would like to hand over the platform to Mr. Sanjay Agarwal to do the honors on behalf of JSW.
Mr. Rath, Mr. Mitra, and esteemed gathering which is here. Basically, Mr. Mukherjee has set the tone for today's conference. It is basically we will be discussing on the long products and its future, the challenges which we faces currently, and how we are going to cope up with the things in the coming years. Today, the capacity in India is somewhere 130 to 135 million tons, whereas the production, the sales, in fact, last year was, last financial year, as per JPC data, was 103 million tons. Out of that, basically, long product constitutes around 53-54 million tons, which is slightly more than the other product, that is the flat product category. In any of the developing nations like us, definitely the long products tonnage is on a higher side, and on the similar lines it is on a higher side. But in case of long products, there are two categories of producer. One is basically primary producers who are producing through the blast furnace route and basically from the virgin iron ore. Other category of producers is the secondary steel producers, which also play a major role in case of long product, particularly in the rebar market. So as of now, basically because we are a growing economy, that rebar or TMT, what we call, is a chunk of the quantum out of 54 million tons, which is getting sold. Virtually 28 million tons is getting sold, which is being reported as per the JPC figures in the market. Balance, it constitutes wire rod coils, then structure steel, railway material like rails, which only two producers produce, and the plain round and the alloy steel component. Basically, alloy steel component is getting used in the auto sector. So, as far as investments are concerned, definitely I think Mr. Rath can elaborate more, but it is happening. As far as JSW is concerned, we are aiming to become 50 million tons company from a current production capacity of 18 million tons. Incidentally, in next financial year, we will be 25 million tons company, wherein we will be adding 5 million tons in 18 million tons in flat product space and 2 million tons in the long product space. This I'm not talking about including Monet, which we acquired last year, and there we are investing and we will be producing 1.5 million tons of long products. So that is in addition to 25 million tons of capacity which JSW is going to create next year. Monet will also be there, and the team are the same virtually, but since the company is separate, we are not including it in the official figures. So today, if we talk of TMT or rebar, definitely main producers has expanded in the last 5 years, and virtually we have a capacity of 15 million tons, and most of the companies have put in the capacity and ramping up the productions. And that's why the competition is also getting created in the market. We see a lot of investment which are announced by the government where rebar is used, whether it is bullet train, whether it is metros, national highways, or maybe the irrigation projects. Definitely, yes, as Mr. Mukherjee has mentioned, in the current scenario, there is a slowdown because the investments which has been announced are not visible on the ground. But we are still hopeful that in next 3 to 4 months, government will do something so that funds are released, and definitely whatever projects has been announced or awarded will be in active shape, so that we are able to sell the rebar or TMT in the Indian market. Another factor, as I mentioned initially, is the secondary steel producers. Yes, they have a capacity of almost 30 million tons. They are selling 18 to 20 million tons of rebars in a financial year. Yeah, there are challenges which we are facing. They have been approved by government because government wants this sector also to grow, with the idea that yes, India has to become 300 million plus producing capacity in steel, and without secondary producers that is not possible. So virtually in most of the projects they have also been approved with a condition that yes, they have to follow BIS and they have to give the quality material. Though there are challenges, I think secondary producers should address those and adhere to the quality norms. As far as other products like wire rod is concerned, again the capacity is around 7 million tons, and out of that 5 million tons or 5.5 million tons is through the blast furnace route, and balance is through the secondary routes, particularly in Raipur and Durgapur sector. Here definitely the quality of wire rod which is getting produced by most of the primary producers are very good, We have developed all the qualities, whether it is for maybe the high carbon grade or electrode grade or for the auto sector, particularly for the fastener grades. All the producers are capable to produce these qualities, and we have virtually replaced imports, particularly for the auto sector. As far as rails and structure are concerned, because we are not into that, so I'll not like to dwell upon that particular category. But yes, definitely here I would like to touch a alloy steel space also, which is almost 7 million tons. Out of that, 5 million tons is from the ferroalloys space, and 2 million ton is from the stainless steel space. So there also, there are almost 25 producers which are there in the country. But JSW has a capability to produce almost 15% of that quantum, and by far we are the largest. And incidentally, in Monet, we will be going to invest. We are in fact investing, and will create a capacity of another 1 million ton, thus increasing the alloy steel capacity to 2.5 million tons. As far as I think the cost of production was concerned, which was one of the topics again for this conference, primary producers definitely